more reasons for no assent to new electoral bill.
We depend. If this place is shut down like this, then somebody like Blessing, I'm a staff in this place.
Aftermath of fire disasters. Correspondent looks at the place of insurance.
It doesn't matter that it is those who file actions in court that must win.
Plus, 2021 in retrospective series. We're looking at the judiciary. This is NTA Network News. We're live in Abuja. I'm Ian Ray. John Adeola Komiakere joins us from Lagos while Zenret Dingmon is in Jos. Welcome. The presidency has responded to reactions generated by the decision to withhold assent from the Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021, which came under scrutiny from media and political circles. Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity in a statement said it is quite correct because it is a decision that will impact all Nigerians.
The presidency explained that Nigeria's strength as a nation and its status as one of the wealthiest economies in Africa, with one of its highest standards of living holds above all to its proud democratic processes, which are enshrined in the Electoral Act of 2010. It is this act which the new bill seeks to amend with the aim of enhancing and building on the democratic processes. It says after careful review, the President's office rather found out that the proposed amendments entail significant legal, financial, economic and security consequences for all Nigerians, principal among which would be a severe spike in the cost of holding primary elections by parties, which is integral to democracies the world over. It also noted that Nigerian taxpayers are to pay for the cost, while only the richest of political parties would benefit at a time when the nation is seeking to extricate itself from the economic situation occasioned by COVID-19. The presidency also noted that it is the usual voices with cynical claims of election rigging and so on that are heard, making references to similar scenarios in 2015 and 2019. Therefore, not surprised to hear same with 2023 around the corner. Garba Shehu said the president will do whatever he can to protect this country's democracy, and that includes withholding assent from this bill, noting that the ruling APC is one of those that stand to benefit from a bill that favors wealthier parties, but it is not the job of this government to protect the APC but Nigeria, her people and her democracy. To those that would rather believe that limited public funds be spent on politicking during this time of global crisis, the presidency advised that they cease the cynical games, tell Nigerians openly what they want by putting their money where their mouth is. Timothy Yusuf, NT News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari withholding assent to the Electoral Act Amendment Bill transmitted to him by the National Assembly has continued to generate public reactions. Some legal practitioners who spoke with Olabode Arewa on the issue believe strongly that the president's concerns are valid.
The Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2021 has dominated public discourse in recent times. This is due to the expectation that it will guide and kickstart activities towards the 2023 general elections. The National Assembly, after working on it, transmitted the bill to President Muhammadu Buhari for his assent. But citing some contentious issues on the bill, the President declined assent and returned it to the National Assembly for review. The President observed that mandating political parties to adopt direct primaries is not in the best interest of Nigeria's political development.
What the President has done is not only constitutional, it is legal. 100% legal. But don't forget that some of the issues that the President raised in his refusal to assent to the bill are so germane that I know that quite a number of Nigerian citizens are waiting to challenge it in the law court.
That one, as we say, is within the purview of the power of the President by the Constitution. But if you want us to interrogate whether we should know this is all about politics, and from time to come now, the issue, I believe, will be so debated.
The legal practitioners want the National Assembly to seek a middle ground on the matter.
What the president is saying in essence is that, look, allow the political parties to determine the best method that they want to use in coming up with their candidates, either direct or indirect.
Individual political party has their own terms of how to run their election, forgetting that for you to be a political party in Nigeria, you must subscribe to obey, to follow into the rules and regulation, particularly the Nigerian law. Once that one has been made into law, it is the duty of the political party to follow the law.
Observers say it is right in law that the withholding of assent to any bill falls within the constitutional power of the president. In Abuja or Laboderewa, NTA News.
And still on electoral matters, 2021. Another busy year for INEC, especially in the area of technological innovations. Mia Ogidi in our 2021 review series takes us through some of the ups and downs on the activities of the electoral empire and the assignments in 2022.
It was December 9, 2020. Professor Mahmoud Yakubu were reappointed as INEC chairman, and the staff happy. Praises from the staff, promise from Mahmoud.
We hope to introduce a new technology.
Just a single agenda, digitizing INEC operations. So 2021 was a year of technological revolution, as it were. First, the commission goes to the communities for the creation of more polling units.
To unveil the new polling units in Nigeria.
25 years old jinx broken. Additional 56,872 polling units created, bringing the total number of polling units in Nigeria to 176,846. More polling units, a forerunner to the continuous voter registration exercise. In June 2021, the continuous voters registration started, and in December, over 7 million registered.
All being replaced with this.
The birth of the bimodal voter accreditation system, BVAS, sends smart card reader and Z-pad to extinction. Esoko South State constituency by-election in Delta State was the laboratory for the test of this new device in September. Each is noticed, and INEC says they are surmountable. Then the Anambra governorship election, BVAS didn't behave well. INEC admitted the failure once again. Another round of assurance.
We wish to assure Nigerians that the Commission has reviewed the performance of the BVAS in Anambra State, and there will be tremendous improvement leading to optimal performance in future elections. The BVAS has come to stay.
The much talked about electoral bill is still shuttling the National Assembly and the presidential villa. A dominant point is the direct primaries proposed in that document, and the president declined for obvious reasons. That is 2021, and in 2022, INEC is quite busy. 68 constituencies to elect 6 area council chairmen and 62 councillors on February 12 in the Federal Capital Territory, Ekiti governorship election on the 18th of June, and Osun governorship election, July 16th, while 8 pending by-elections also on the timetable for INEC in 2022. Party primaries already here, and INEC sticking its neck to see the preparations by the parties.
Political parties must therefore hold themselves to the same high standard of free, fair, transparent, and credible elections that they expect from INEC during general elections.
With all these elections in the year 2022, quite an engaging year, you may say. Yes, it is. But it is even more engaging than you may think, because majority of activities for the 2023 general elections coming up in February will be performed in the year 2022. I may say about 70 to 80% of the activities slated for the 2023 general elections will be performed in 2022. INEC has already proposed 305 billion naira for that exercise. So you now agree with me that the year 2022 is not only for these major elections, but considerable time will also be devoted for 2023. Mie Ogidi, NT News.
Many thanks, Mie. And as we count down to the end of the year, like every other sector in Nigeria, the judiciary lived up to expectations of Nigerians in 2021, particularly when it mattered most in cases that threatened our democracy. In this report, correspondent Austin Ayimbe takes a look at few landmark civil matters that were resolved by the Supreme Court.
The judiciary has been a strong pillar of Nigeria's democracy, having been involved in adjudication of intra and inter-party squabbles, and to a large extent restore confidence in the nation's electoral process. Between 2020 and 2021, several civil matters arising from the conduct of primaries and governorship elections were entertained. The first was the Edo governorship election, where Godwin Obaseki of the People's Democratic Party was dragged to court by the APC and others over alleged certificate forgery. Justice Ahmed Mohammed of the Federal High Court, Abuja, however, dismissed the suit for lacking in merit. Not satisfied, the complainants pursued the case up to the Supreme Court, but still suffered the same fate for the APC not being able to prove a case of forgery against Godwin Obaseki. The second one was the case instituted against Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu by the PDP governorship candidate Eita Ojegede in the October 2020 under governorship election. The grounds of the petition were that Akeredolu was not validly nominated by the All Progressive Congress by virtue of the fact that the APC Caretaker Committee is illegal. The governor won at the tribunal and the Court of Appeal, a feat that was equally followed at the Supreme Court.
It doesn't really matter that it is those who file actions in court that must win. So the facts of the matter as put before the judiciary must be the deciding factor in arriving at conclusions in political issues, rather than succumbing to political pressures from quarters that are not supposed to interfere.
Sometimes a case already failed even before coming to court because of the pleadings prepared by counsel. But you can see that in Edo and Ondo, the court followed the trends, how the pleadings were done, and everything pursued up to Supreme Court, and judgments were delivered within time.
The one that is fresh in mind is a controversy that characterized the party primaries in the just concluded Anambra governorship elections. Litigation that followed the primaries almost marred the exercise, but the Supreme Court moved swiftly to put to rest all contentious issues by recognizing Professor Charles Soludo as the authentic candidate of APGA in the election. The election he won and awaiting swearing in, analysts have the view that the judiciary has performed well in 2021, considering the number of both criminal and civil cases filed before them. They express hope that the judiciary continue to uphold her independence, particularly as Nigeria edges towards another election period. In Abuja, Austin Ayimbe, NT News.
Now, looking at other matters, to fill the pause of the management of the Next Cash and Carry supermarket, whose business complex was gutted by fire Sunday morning. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Musa Bello, visited the scene of the unfortunate incident to ascertain the level of damage. Onoze Yakubu was there and brought back this report.
On arrival at the scene of the fire outbreak that occurred on Boxing Day, FCT Minister Muhammad Musa Bello, in company of some top management staff, took a tour around different sections of the gutted supermarket, where he expressed shock at the extent of damage and the economic loss. He assures the management of Next Cash and Carry supermarket of the administration's support in reviving the destroyed business complex.
I really sympathize with Next. I do so particularly because I recall during the heat of the COVID-19, Next, under the leadership of Mr. Ndibe Obi, were among the foremost companies that provided tremendous support to the FCT administration by providing us palliative items which we distributed to vulnerable members of the community. Unfortunately, today they are also very vulnerable. So it's our duty in the city to rally around them, protect this important investment and generator of many jobs in the city.
While goods worth billions of naira were reportedly destroyed in the inferno, men of the Nigerian police force and the FCT fire service are still on ground to put out the remaining raging fire and to also safeguard goods that were not affected by the fire. Onoze Yakubu, NTA News.
And you know, when fire disasters strike, efforts to extinguish the fire come from different walks of life, with insurance playing a significant role in restoration. Abdullahi Muhammad takes a look at the case of the supermarket fire in Abuja.
The fire disaster may have struck without any form of warning, but men and equipment from the fire service stood their grounds. The Nigeria police and its sister agencies gave cover, and the vicinity of the supermarket and items salvaged from the fire secured.
That viral videos are false, fake, is not true. All those trolleys, they were pushing those goods to safety, which we have shown Nigerians, they have seen it. All the media houses have already seen it. It's not true. The place has immediately been cordoned by all the joint security agencies. And I must commend the FEMA, the FCT NEMA, and all the security agencies for prompt response.
Questions by hundreds of Nigerians whose livelihood depends on the business raise concerns.
We depend on this place. We depend. If this place is shut down like this, tell me somebody like Blessing, as in tell me how food will come to my table.
An interface with a player in the insurance industry gives a ray of hope.
You may have insured the place for X amount at the beginning of the year and paid the premium, as it were. But in the course of the year, you may have increased the content, you may have increased the value of the contents of everything, and where the insurance is not properly informed of the content, sometimes there is no way what was damaged was of more value than what was insured.
Days after the fire disaster broke out here at the supermarket, there's still flames from some part of the building. An intermittent blast from combustible materials in there, indicating the fact that this fire may continue to burn for a couple of more days. In Abuja, Abdullah Muhammad, NTA News.
Now, joining me via Zoom to discuss issues bordering on insurance is the Regional Manager, North Old Mutual Nigeria Insurance, Abayomi Ayegbusi. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Now, let's begin. The Inferno at Next Cash and Carry Supermarket is the latest in the series of such. You'll agree that this is one disaster too many. What exactly is the role of insurance for a business of this magnitude, considering the owners, vendors, and all other businesses in the value chain?
Okay, thank you very much. For Next Cash and Carry, it's a public building, so I will start from that. And in the real sense of it, there's a law. There's a law in Nigeria that guides the insurance of public building. The truth of the matter is that the Section 65, subsection 3 of the 2003 Insurance Act actually makes it mandatory for all owners of public building to provide insurance for the building, for their building, including government. Everybody, the moment your building is a public building, whether it's supermarkets, hospitals, whatever, you are supposed to provide insurance cover, which is the building liability for your building. So if you look at Next, that is one part of the building. I had my colleague that just spoke the other time talking about even the content. Yes, that should be taken by everybody, by the owner of a supermarket to cover his goods. But by law, there's a law that requires you to insure your building. So what we've been having is enforcement to make sure that people adhere to these laws. This is not the first time this will happen in Abuja. We had a case of Ebano not too long ago. I was also on ground to look at that. I was on ground yesterday too with some of my colleagues in other arms of government, and the damage, it's just too enormous. So there's a law that governs this, and I think what we should do now from now is to make sure that that law is adhered to and strictly enforcement is carried out.
Okay, talking about enforcement and ensuring that the law is carried out, what exactly are the hurdles before businesses and perhaps premises without insurance cover or those that are not up to date?
Okay, so this is what you have now. Because if you look at Next, even looking at that building, the building has to go down. So it's like you are starting afresh. And you can imagine, compare the amount you are paying as premium to the amount, because what insurance now do is to come in immediately and restore you to that position you were before the incident, immediately after it. That is the role of insurance. So for and that is why it's compulsory, because a lot of people depends on this. So the law is not actually protecting you, but it's also protecting your dependents. And in case of Next, I even know that there are some like vendors, private vendors in there that also have their businesses in there. So all of these are gone. And that is why the challenge is the fact that this cannot be done just by one agency. So you have the fire service, you have the NICOM, you must have the security agencies.
So it's a joint effort.
It is a joint effort, yes.
Okay, I'm sure you should be able to give us a picture, Mr. Abayomi. What exactly is the insurance penetration like right now in the country? And are we seeing more acceptability coming from the coronavirus pandemic and other related downturns?
Okay, so the penetration is still very poor, but it's improving.
Okay.
Because now people are now beginning to see the importance of insurance. So from the issue of from the angle of the pandemic, that actually have to do more with life insurance, at least from federal government, from so many people that took insurance, life insurance, for example. You find out that a lot of payment went out to people who lost their life during this time and some other things. So the same way for property insurance, also people who, you also had not just fire, even collapse and all of that.
All right.
These things happen every time, yes. So the role of insurance is, the awareness is improving. And one thing I found out that Next is actually insured. So people are also going to see that insurance will also compensate. Whether it's adequate or not is another issue. But at least when they see this payment, then they make.
I'm sure we can talk about that another time because of time, Mr. Abayomi. Thank you so much for joining us on 98 Network News tonight.
Thank you very much.
All right, time for a short break. Please stay. Thank you for staying. The Federal Ministry of Agriculture has adopted a new policy on agricultural technology and innovation for the country's agricultural development. Musa Ali reports that the policy is to be implemented from 2022 to 2025.
These are a group of women farmers in Kano State learning how to use heavy-duty farming equipment to enhance their output. Operating the machine is not as easy as other local equipment, but is faster and can cover a large area in a short period of time. And the guideline for the use of technology and innovation introduced by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture is to support smallholder farmers like these women. The policy, unveiled by the Minister of State for Agriculture, Mustafa Babashehuri, is to enhance access to improved inputs and linkages amongst research and teaching institutions, as well as improve on the level of agricultural mechanization.
It also gives adequate attention to fisheries, value chain, particularly the artisanal fisheries, with the aim of reducing the import to meet domestic consumption.
It is observed that the policy strategies have been redefined to also focus on the establishment of cottage industries and agro-processing zones for priority commodities.
Will take into consideration the National Agricultural Technology Innovation Policy focus designed to revamp and revolutionize Nigerian agriculture through injection of knowledge, technology, and innovation.
Agriculture takes place in the states naturally, and obviously the policy needs the buy-in of the states to be fully adopted, and we sincerely hope that the views and suggestions by the various stakeholders will be incorporated in the emerging policy.
In the meantime, the National Biosafety Management Agency says it's keeping a guard against any form of introduction or importation of any kind of genetically modified crops without permission. The Director General of the agency said the federal government has so far approved the commercialization of genetically modified maize and beans.
The approval of genetically modified maize known as stellar maize. This means
has the genes that are for drought tolerance, for insect resistance.
Production, processing, and marketing of any kind of genetic materials is prohibited without approval from the National Biosafety Management Agency. Musa Aliyu, NTA News.
And in Kano, the state government will demarcate about 2,000 kilometers of stock routes as part of measures to address conflicts between farmers and pastoralists. Already, the committee has been constituted to carry out the task and is in consultation with stakeholders, including traditional rulers, to ensure timely and successful execution. Abdullahi Mustafa has details.
Stock routes is a designated passage for livestock to access pasture, water points and other places including markets and vaccination centers. Unfortunately, however, many of such routes are being encroached or taken over by farmlands or infrastructure. These are partly blamed for conflict between farmers and herders. Through the Kano State Agro-Pastoral Development Project, plans are on to demarcate, gazette and monument 1,950 kilometers of stock route to address this major concern.
1,450 are major stock routes in the state, while the remaining 500 are minor stock routes. Each and every local government in the state will have their own committees, and these committees, they will serve as an avenue where they will be resolving issues and other crises of the stock routes.
The stock route demarcation committee constituted by the state government was at the palace of the Emir of Bichi, Surado Bayero, as part of consultations with stakeholders. The royal father assured of support and cooperation of the traditional institution in view of the strategic importance of the initiative. In Kano, Abdullahi Mustafa, NTA News.
Talking security now, Zamfara State Commander of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps has arrested some suspected notorious bandits who have been in the watch list of the security agencies. The suspects were intercepted at some military parks in Gusau, the state capital. Jamilu Ibrahim has more.
The ongoing fight against criminal activities in Zamfara State has continued to force many bandits to either lay down their weapons or leave the state. A 27-year-old Tukur Halilu, who was said to be on his way to Niger State, and one Hussein Altini that also wanted to sneak out, along with his elder brother Abubakar Altini and their aged mother to Taraba State, were intercepted by the operatives of Zamfara State Command of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. The suspects, who confessed to the crimes, said they had participated in different operations in Gusau, Bungudu and Kaurnamudo local government areas of the state. The NSCDC Public Relations Officers on Zamfara State Command Uche Iko, who paraded the suspects, said they were arrested at Lalan and Zamfara State Mass Transit Parks in Gusau. Following an intelligence report, he assured that the suspect will be arraigned before the court as soon as necessary investigations are completed.
He confessed that he has participated in several banditry activities. He had attacked several villages. According to him, he said what he benefits mostly from it is 10,000 and above. Each operation he goes, they will give him 10,000 or something similar to that.
Exhibits recovered from the suspects include narcotics and some local charms. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
Elsewhere, the Police Command Secondary School, Mbak Obioitam in Akwa Ibom State, is ready for academic activities. Nsikak Okon reports that the Senior Special Assistant to the President on Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Ita Enang, made this known when he inspected the school to ascertain the level of job done.
In the spirit of youthite, Senator Itainang, after celebrating an annual event in his hometown, Idideb, to appreciate God's faithfulness, inspected some federal government projects in Ibionibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State. Among the projects inspected is the Police Command Secondary School. The senator, while going around the project site, expressed satisfaction at the level of job done, which he says has reached 90% completion for the resumption of academic activities.
What we need now is for the authorities to accept that they can even start an emergency, because we need facilities like this, and we cannot just vacate this facility on like that. It is waiting for next academic session while nothing is happening now.
The senator also inspected the ongoing construction of the Youth Development Center at Presbyterian Senior Science School at Ididep and acknowledged the support he has received by Ididep community.
This is given to us by His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari's administration. His Excellency President Buhari says politics is over, election is over, it is now governance. So he's given Akwa Ibom the greatest opportunities, and this is one of the things he's doing through the Ministry of Youth Development.
It is the hope of the people that the school will attract more progress and development to the area when academic activities resume, while commending the federal government for the establishment of federal government projects in the area. Nsika Okon, NTA News.
And from Akwa Ibom, we head to Lagos, where Adiola is standing by with more news. Adiola, it's over to you.
Thank you, Iere. Efforts by the Nigerian Diaspora Commission, led by Abike Dabiri Erewa, to secure the release of Itunu Babalola before her untimely death have been commended by father of the deceased, who also rejected the autopsy report sent to him.
The autopsy that they brought it in French, and I take it to where to translate it into English. The translation that they gave me, I'm not satisfied with it.
Sepsis, complicated by acute respiratory distress, was the outcome of the autopsy carried out on late Itunu Babalola by the government of Côte d'Ivoire.
I rejected the autopsy that they brought for my daughter. I saw it to a doctor. The doctor said, what they said that kill her is not something that they can happen to her one day and kill her second day.
Chairman Nigerian Diaspora Commission Abike Dabiri Erewa also faulted the autopsy report.
This autopsy, even to me, doesn't appear acceptable. What is sepsis complicated by acute respiratory distress? How did it happen when she had nothing like that before? But like I said, I'm not a doctor.
She went further to say that Nigerian government will not let the issue slide, as there are pertinent questions that needs to be answered by the Ivorian government, especially the DPO in the incident.
And then, although Itunu has been buried, I don't know whether much more can be done in terms of, finding out more about how she died, but I'm sure the Minister of Foreign Affairs will take the next necessary steps to demand from Côte d'Ivoire a lot more information that they have given.
The NIDCAM boss later presented a token to Mr. Emmanuel Babalola on behalf of the commission, while praying God to grant the family the fortitude to bear the loss. In Lagos, Amaka O, NT News.
Appropriate sections of the law will be applied to anyone caught in the act of misdeeds in an effort to sabotage efforts by the federal government to create unnecessary apprehension. Acting Customs Area Controller, Western Marine Command, Enoche Ochiba stated this while reading out a number of seizures that the command recorded in 2021. Habolade Salami reports.
These 865 plastic containers are not on display for sale, but items seized from smugglers at Ashikpa Beach along semi-coastal border area. The 25 liters each product, with a total of 21,625 liters valued at 3.6 million naira, was intercepted by officers and men of the Coastal and Harbour Patrol team on credible intelligence.
The government is doing all it can to make us comfortable. But there are a group of people called smugglers that are denying us of this thing. That is why we are saddled with the responsibility of getting these things, curbing it.
As the watchdog of the Western Marine Corridor against all forms of smuggling activities, the command in the course of the year had seized various items, including hard drugs, imported rice, second-hand clothing, and PMS, with a duty-paid value of 2.2 billion naira, as against the 1.1 billion naira made in 2020.
These records are a strong indication that the operatives of the command are working tirelessly to combat smuggling on the waterways. The record of seizure for the year 2021 is the total seizures from 2017 to 2020 for the command. Those smugglers were aware of your plans during this period.
With the high morale of officers and men of the command, anti-smuggling war during and after the Yuletide season, the acting customs area controllers say will take a new dimension. In Lagos, Abolade Salami, NTA News.
Those are stories from the Zone. We'll take another break. The news will continue when we return. To stay.
Glad to have you back. Now time to talk business with Benny Adams. Benny.
Thank you, Inyere, and welcome to Business. We start by telling you that the federal government has assured of adequate investment in ICT to ensure that by 2025, critical digitization challenges are addressed to allow for achievement of its job creation and economic productivity potential. And to achieve this, the federal government in the National Development Plan 2021 to 2025 has projected investment worth more than 150 billion naira. The amount will be spread across priority projects in the sector. In addition, the government says the ICT sector is projected to facilitate the formation of up to $1 billion in private equity and private capital investment in digital infrastructure of approximately $40 billion. The document noted that despite recent improvements in Nigeria's ICT sector, several challenges including low funding and weak digital infrastructure, especially in non-commercial hubs, have limited the value creation potential of businesses. And the implementation of Executive Order 5 and the promotion of policies and programs that enhance local content development have been described as part of solution to the global supply disruptions being experienced as a result of COVID-19.
Like in procurement, you have an alternative product that you can use that is a supplement or a representation of what you normally import. So like the government did say, produce what you know you eat and eat what you produce. And the moment you are doing that, you are giving room for the MSME.
And taking a look at the global oil energy markets, the oil prices extended gains on Tuesday with prices trading near the previous day's one-month high on hopes that the Omicron variant will have a limited impact on fuel demand. Brent crude rose $1.13 to $79.73 per barrel. U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude rose $1.24 to $76.80 a barrel, gaining for a fifth straight session. That is business news, but network news continues with Zenret in Jos. Zenret, take it from here.
Thank you, Benny. Welcome to Jos. Jos University Teaching Hospital, JUTH, has received a boost in infrastructure development with the handover and inauguration of its newly completed amenity complex. The new facility will also improve effectiveness and efficiency of healthcare delivery. The report. The idea to build an amenity complex is due to the growing need of patients and the hospital's desire to deliver professional and holistic care. The construction of the 32 rooms edifice began in 2018.
Each time they will ask, is there no amenity wing? So we deem it fit that we must bridge this gap. This is what we are presenting. When patients come here, they will always be in a 3-star hotel, but they will be receiving the best of services that Jos University Teaching Hospital offers. The contractor gave a breakdown of the execution of the project and assures the hospital of the quality of work done.
I assure each and every one of us here that this edifice will stand the test of time.
Anglican Archbishop of Jos, Most Reverend Benjamin Kwashi, who said a special prayer for the structure, also advised the management and staff to ensure they do their best in executing their duties. Guests and staff were conducted round to take a look at the facilities. The National Social Investment Program, NSIP, says it has recorded huge success as beneficiaries generate more than 78 million naira for various businesses. The focal person in Plateau State, Dr. Sumaye Hamza, stated this While reviewing activities in 2021, Felicia Daly of Samaila has details.
Established by the federal government in 2016 to tackle issues of poverty and hunger across the country, the National Social Investment Program focuses on ensuring equitable distribution of resources to vulnerable groups, which include women, children, and youths. The program will assist them in acquiring and developing lifelong skills towards nation building. The focal person says it has achieved success in 2021 with an increased number of 74,377 beneficiaries under the conditional cash transfer component.
This category of people who are put into clusters, they have a savings collectively domiciled in different banks in Plateau State.
The National Homegrown Feeding Program is another aspect of NCIP that has not only tackled hunger, but has also created employment for many.
It's really wonderful. We are learning seriously. We are learning new things that we've never come across.
I'm counting this as an opportunity which has come my way to learn something that could change my economic status.
The N-Power component exited 11,352 trainees in the year under review, with 13,810 currently undergoing training. In Jos, Felicia Dalyop Samaila, NTA News.
And that's it from Jos. The news continues after this break.
Let's have a bit of sports now with Olumide Eguntola.
Ahead of the 2022 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon, the Super Eagles of Nigeria camp opens Wednesday in Abuja, with invited players expected to report for training sessions. Meanwhile, the Confederation of African Football, CAF, has approved the use of video assistant referee at the 2022 AFCON in Cameroon. CAF made use of VAR for the first time at an international tournament at the 2019 AFCON held in Egypt, but only at the knockout stage. But it will be used in all the 52 matches of the 2022 AFCON. In another development, the draws for the group stage of the 2021-2022 CAF Champions League held in Cairo, Egypt Tuesday indicate that Al Ali, Mamelodi Sundowns, Al Hilal and Al Merrikh are drawn in Group A. Raja Casablanca, Oroya FC, ES Setiv and Amazulu FC are in Group B. Group C pitched ES Esperance, ESS FC, Belouizdad and Galaxy FC together. In Group D are Wydad, Zamalek, Atletico Petroleos and GD Zagrada football clubs. Matches are slated to commence on the 11th of February 2022. In the Nigerian Professional Football League, table toppers Remo Stars will have another opportunity to hold on to the first position when the team hosts Nasarawa United in match day 3 of the league scheduled for Wednesday. Enyimba will hope to continue its impressive runs with a date with Rivers United as Castina United host Kano Pillars, among other matches. In the English Premier League, Cavani came off the bench to rescue Manchester United from defeat Monday night in a match that ended 1-goal apiece with Newcastle United. Some results of matches played Tuesday are a 3-0 defeat of Norwich City by Crystal Palace. West Ham United recorded a 4-1 away win at the expense of Watford as Southampton and Tottenham Hotspur ended their affairs 1-goal apiece. And on a sad note, Algerian footballer Sofiane Luka passed away during a second-tier league match between Malouda and ESM Oran on Monday. The player collapsed during the game, but all efforts to save him failed. With sports update, Olumide Eguntola, NTA News.
The death has occurred of Nelma Lady Rosita Onyamaoge Duru, JP, née Agu, after a brief illness. She was aged 79. Burial arrangements from her family indicates that Nelma Duru, until her death, was a retired headmistress, special class, a devout Catholic who attended the 4th degree in the revered order of the Knights of St. Mulumba. She was a passionate leader, fostering the well-being of children, youths, and the aged, as well as peaceful coexistence of Nigerians across ethnic and religious lines. She'll be buried in her home in Umezala Ama, Ehimembano, Imo State, after a requiem mass at St. Paul's Catholic Church, Umezala Ama, at 11 o'clock in the morning. And that concludes NTA Network News tonight. Many thanks for watching. Please remember to speak up, take action, and let's put an end to rape. I'm Yen Ray John. Have a good night.